Today we are joined by Sowmya Vijaylakshmi. She spent most of her career in engineering management, starting with engineering manager, then senior engineering manager, now director of engineering. Today our focus will be more on how to measure or effectively measuring the performance of an engineering team. Since Sowmya has been leading the engineering teams most of her lives, let's get her insights on this.
Thank
Uh,
you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks. You have been managing performance of multiple engineering teams across various domains. So, what, in your opinion, are the key metrics involved in measuring a performance?
So this is a very, very good question and a very complicated question. We managers have been, learning, adopting to do this, measuring the performance, right? That's something that is a metric that we are trying to figure it out. So it also depends. Before I start, I'm going to put some disclaimers, right? Say these performance metrics depends on the various things like the nature of the product itself. All through my career, I've been managing enterprise softwares. So the goals and the key metrics depends on which kind of product you are actually working on and what your engineering team is entitled to deliver, and that determines how we measure. However, there are some common metrics that we need to consider during evaluation of a team. They're a bread and butter for us, right? One is the velocity. We have to measure the team's output, not just individual, right? How much items can we deliver in a sprint, because every other team right now is agile and we are using scrum, and we have sprints and all that. So how much an engineering team is able to produce and give the outcomes for what we have committed. It's another measurement that we compare against what we commit. That's number one metric. And definitely the quality, the code quality metrics, like how much our code coverage is, and how good our integration tests are, and most importantly, the functional escapes, the UAT escapes. All these code quality metrics are very, very important. And the third important is certainly the customer issues. How many issues are getting reported? That's very, very important bug tracking mechanism that we have. How many bugs we found in the development cycle, how many bugs we found after it has moved to production. So bugs is very, very important. So another pair for bug is the mean time to resolve those issues. It's very, very important as an engineering team. We keep up an ideal benchmark for mean time to resolve. That's another important metric, Abhijit. So I also see that engineering efficiency is another important area we need to focus. Engineering efficiency is a big umbrella word. So what is engineering efficiency? How easy we can deploy, how easy we can monitor, how easily we can debug, what is our documentation quality. All these are engineering efficiencies. How can an engineering team operate seamlessly? Say there is a new feature that comes in, how soon can we go to the production? That's the lead time, right? At the same time, when there is an issue that comes, how soon can we actually root cause analyze it? How soon can we fix it? How soon can we test it? How is our engineering framework is helping to get all this? All these are the major important metrics that is there, that will be there irrespective of what kind of product you are delivering. But one thing we all have to understand, engineering performance of a team is definitely a summation of folks who are there. Some people will be very, very highly efficient, and there will be folks who are not that highly efficient. So it's an average. It's a summation of all the efforts that each of the engineer is producing, right? So that's also another important thing. What kind of team that you have? What is the composition of your team? So this is something from the people perspective that I would like to let you know. So I think these are something. Absolutely, customer satisfaction, CSAT, how a product is doing in the market, how much it is easily consumable, how are we with the UX, for the customer? How much can we give independence in operation, right? So we wanted to ensure that our interfaces, our APIs are consumable by the customers. So that's also another important metric that I would say. Hope I answered your question.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And one fascinating thing is coding doesn't come much into this list. Assuming that we have been into a coding background or you have led a engineering team, so it's fascinating to hear that coming from an IC, maybe an IC always thinks coding is their top priority. But now listening to you, I feel that okay, it is a priority, but there are a lot other things that we need to consider along with it.
Yeah. So coding is directly or indirectly impacting your bugs, which comes within your functional cycle. Your coding is the one that determines the incidents that comes in. Your coding is the one that determines the scalability and the performance issues that comes from the field. And your coding is definitely important to see how much efficient. Coding as such is a main ingredient that determines the rest of the metrics that we have. If you do not write a good scalable code, we'll not be able to scale at the customer environment, right? So, and we know, right, there is no vanilla environment that our customers are using. So, so these are the other things that you may have to look at when judging or when measuring a team's performance.
The next point is again a bit tricky, and this is something from my personal perspective as well, right? I've been an IC all along, and OKRs, right? I mean KPIs, OKRs, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, being an IC, I don't type it. Okay, I mean let's be honest here. So as a leader, right, how will you ensure that your team starts liking OKRs, right? I mean, I know it's not easy, and I'm pretty sure I don't speak for all ICs, but I'm pretty sure most of them will say, "What is this?" Right? I mean, why are we measuring against this particular outdated metric or whatever you want to call it? So how do you make sure that your team actually starts liking OKRs or KPIs?
Yeah, OKR is something that is not liked by many people, but there are multiple reasons for it. I was just trying to recollect, why are we not able to adopt OKRs across organizations? I've been into multiple organizations. I'm telling you, OKR has been just a ceremony. It wasn't embraced voluntarily, or wasn't embraced like what you said. It wasn't embraced naturally. It is basically not there in the DNA at all. But engineering organizations have found, and the research have already said, that setting OKRs, having some meaningful objectives and linking to results have really been able to see improvement in the performance and clarity about the alignment that each of us have on the goals, right? So OKRs is never a favorite topic. When we started using OKRs, to be super honest, even managers' favorite topic was not OKRs. But eventually we learned. So we eventually understood the concerns, and we eventually try to understand what will help make OKRs simple and what will it help to motivate people like you to be part of OKRs. So let me tell you one thing. OKRs, the major problem with OKRs is, right, people have thought that OKRs are written on stone. They are not flexible. They are not something that we can change. Proper understanding of why we are doing the OKRs is something that is a bigger impediment. OKR can benefit every individual. Forget OKR about the teams or products or bigger organization. Every team member, if they align their personal and professional goals and their business goals to OKRs, I think that gives a bigger picture for them. They are more likely that we can see that engagement coming. The problem is we see just as an update, progress update. We have 100 places where we update. We have Jira, we have a lot of places. We keep on updating. People think it's just an update, but it is not. We have to acknowledge the fact that OKRs can be meaningful only if we really define it properly. So the first step in defining OKRs, if you don't define it and if people do not understand it, OKR is just a bureaucracy. People do not want to follow it, but they have to follow it because your manager would ask, or your program managers are tracking that. So it will be another one tick mark in their system. The best thing that we could do is simplify it, define it, and please ensure that it maps. Say, for example, Abhijit, when we have worked together, we always set OKRs at the top and we just copy paste all of them until our end is engineer, right? We don't really give some kind of experimentation of what has been given by the leaders, right? We should really be open and regularly revisit what it is and translate it. I would say it's not translation. You interpret what it is, what your leaders have written, and change it. Have a meaningful, it's not change, it's modify and have a meaningful OKRs for your work, what you are doing as an IC, and embrace these OKRs. Be more committed to what you're doing. It's basically a simple, plain English. The problem that we have is we don't think OKRs as English. We think we need to have a Shakespeare kind of a language to define OKR, which will really beat the sense of what OKRs are. OKRs are basically having sensible, measurable, and non-ambiguous, ambitious OKRs so that we can drive results through that. This will really be useful only when you think it is meaningful. If you think it is not meaningful, challenge it. Change it. Interpret it in a way that you can understand and you can align to the business goals. What as Abhijit are we doing? What is Sowmya going to be doing for this? And that's how your OKR should be. And we have OKR dashboards and we have OKR trees and all that. So when you have all these nodes combined, the OKR that was defined by the organization leadership is met. So it's basically a balance, basically to be flexible, to be meaningful, and to really understand what we are doing. So that's what is my interpretation of OKRs and how OKRs are being seen by my team. Even now, if I go to my team, in spite of having a lot of communication and education and all that, I think they are not going to be happy with it. That is because we make it complicated at the top. We bring in the framework and we're bringing a lot of jargons that will really be breaking the simplicity. I think there should be active involvement. There should be actively, more clarity and iterative, discussions to happen at all levels to make it more meaningful and make it adopted.
Yeah, I certainly agree. I can certainly relate when you say, right, okay, I mean, we just do it as a part of our, just because we have to do it, right? I mean, it's just a tick in the box, as opposed to really digging deep and thinking what it is. Does it align to the company vision? Yes, certainly, I think so. If an IC tries to align a particular OKR to the company vision, then particularly he or she will start liking it for sure. Yep.
Yeah, keep it simple. That's the point.
Yeah. Next thing also is related to OKR, and this I personally faced a lot. Technology is fast paced, right? I mean, it changes every, I wouldn't say 2 months, but 3 months, like every 3 months or 4 months. And typically product companies change tracks quite often. So what do you think is a good frequency, right? I mean, OKRs, I believe, are generally 6 months, in most cases 1 year. So in your opinion, is this right, or should we revisit the OKRs every 2 months, every 3 months, realign back to the company vision or the B vision?
Yeah. So for the last, so I'm right now in VMware, or when I was in Cisco, the cadence was quarterly. And I felt quarterly OKRs are good. This is my opinion. It helps us to iterate and check what we are doing against objectives. And it's also not overwhelming. 3 months is a very good time. I think quarterly OKR works well. And I think it's reasonable for us, right? You can't achieve, we are not in a startup kind of culture, right? So enterprise software organizations have goals that could be defined every 3 months, and 3 months is a good time. And every quarter, so it's like this, right? Definition, reviews, and all can be one in a quarter. Maybe every month we can go ahead and do some check-ins. We can check what the progress is. We can make changes. As I said, if people do not understand the OKRs, there's no way that you can expect progress, or no way that you can make them focused, right? So we need to ensure that every month we probably can revisit, monitor, and also change if required. So that way we'll have a balance. So to me, the best practices is to have quarterly OKRs reviews, and with the leadership and within the team, maybe once in a month, we can have regular, once in a month or twice a month. That's okay. When you align your sprint demos and all that, we can monitor your progresses. We can make necessary adjustment, and we basically have to strike the balance. Each team is different, right? There are some fast-paced team, and some teams have a little more time to even groom, right? They need time to even groom, right? So that won't come as within a week or 2 weeks. So there can be, like how we do our personal goals, right? We have a short-term goal, we have a long-term goal. Even OKRs can be that way. The OKRs can be, defined in such a way that we have short and long-term goals as well. And that's something that we can do. And you were talking about the technology trends and all that. See, technology keep changing. I have never seen any 3-4 years where the technology hasn't changed. I remember way back that I started writing code in C, and we are in Go. No way I imagined at that time that I'm going to write a code. So this is from a programming language, from a software engineer perspective, right? And technologies keep changing. We had virtualization, we had cloud, and now we have hybrid cloud, multi-cloud, and then now the buzz around generative AI. We have a lot of things that are coming, right? That's going to come. There's no way that it's going to change. How do we adopt to these technology trends is we have a primary business. Each of our organizations have a specific customer base. We know our objective, right? What we want to do in this customer segment, in this particular field, in this particular industry, what we wanted to do. Whenever technology changes come, we just adopt. We don't drop the ball and go there, right? Say, for example, we in VMware, right? We are primarily cloud-based company, and we are a SaaS company, and generative AI has come. Our leadership has been discussing around it, and what are the relevant use cases to embrace the new technology? How do we marry these two technologies? Tomorrow there'll be something else. We don't know what it is, right? We have to carefully assess the changes, carefully make decisions. And as I said, going back to OKRs, let OKRs change. If things change very frequently, we know the ChatGPT and all came in very, very few days, the adoption was high. So OKRs, as I said, short-term OKRs, long-term OKRs, we are reviewing it in every quarter. So it will always give us to adopt and really ensure that we change and align to what the technology trends are. But to me, by and large, OKRs are supposed to be something that will help you track the progress, analyze the key performance indicators, and understand whether you are on track to achieve what you defined, right? We also have to be adaptive to the situations and the changes that's happening. And we also have to ensure that we are open to feedback and flexible with the goals. The goals keep changing, right? So that is something that it doesn't change so rapidly, but it changes. So we need to be aware and allow ourselves to basically change and get it done. So, and there is no wrong, right? There is no wrong. Some OKRs we won't meet, we will fail. That's okay. That is exactly why we are measuring, right? We understand the failures. We understand where we need to improve. We understand, because in an R&D kind of an organization where I come from, innovation is key. And for innovation, experimentation is key. For experiments, not every experiment is successful, right? So let's encourage team members to provide inputs to OKRs, be transparent, and be open and vocal so that they take the ownership. It should not be driven from the top. The definition can be from the top, but each and every software engineer has to take ownership of their objectives, and they should shape the OKRs from the bottom. Does that sound good, Abhijit?
The relationship that you had with R&D, innovation, experimentation, and failure was, I think so that summarizes the whole discussion. Yeah. I'll come to my last point, right? And it kind of deviates from the whole team perspective. I'll just focus more on much of an individual aspect, I would say. In your opinion, like as a leader, how much importance you will give to an individual who does like beyond what the OKR is or beyond what a job role is, and how important is that particular individual from a team perspective? There might be a follow-up question, but I'll let you answer that first.
See, those are our key players, right? People who go beyond what has been defined. So the first thing is recognize. Recognize those engineers who are contributing above and beyond. So there are a couple of things that I always try to tell the team. You have to go above and beyond, but at what cost? Right? At what cost? Are we really having and are we having focus to what we are supposed to do and align with what organization goals are and what your individual performance goals are? We should basically recognize the work that has been done by these beyond, high performers or outstanding performers or above and beyond performance, right? So it's something that I would definitely recognize. And every organization, every manager should understand an engineering team or any other teams, we should recognize the value of such employees who go above and beyond. Because not everybody in the team does it. And specifically, if those work that these engineers do above and beyond, if it has a direct impact on the team goals, and if it improves the productivity, say, for example, somebody comes up with a very cool debugging tool. I go back to the metrics question that you asked. Your mean time to resolve, your mean time to debug is going to reduce. So it's directly having an impact to the team's productivity, which means it's going to directly impact on the metrics and the success of the team and the project. So recognizing such effects and encouraging is very important. So encouraging is very, very important. At the same time, how are we balancing? How are these high performers or people who go above and beyond or balancing it? The main goals that we have should be done. And at the same time, anything that is done above and beyond in terms of aligning with organization goals, the team, the productivity, the metrics, everything is important. And we also have to be ensuring that while we recognize that, above and beyond performance, which I would love to, and I always do it, we also have to understand fair, comparisons. Individual performers, some of them are really good. They can do it. They can do above and beyond. We should also ensure that we don't create such unsaid expectation in the team, right? So some of them can really go above and beyond. And if we have to recognize them, we have to appreciate them, no doubt. But it shouldn't become like the entire team is logging, entire team is burning out because the manager is expecting above and beyond, right? But if it is part of your goals, yes, if you are a senior person, say you're talking about IC, staff engineers and above, definitely you have to do it, right? That's where your innovation goals come in. That's where how you improve the quality of the metrics, the measured metrics of an engineering team. So all these are there. But seeing you, if we create a culture of healthy competition, that's good. But we shouldn't end up, burning them out because manager only appreciates above and beyond. So it's a careful, careful line that a manager should make a note of it. But I think, Abhijit, I was expecting, or I will expect some of the above and beyond expectations that I have as part of the performance itself, performance metrics itself. Let these contributions be part of the individual performance so that we measure, we celebrate, we reward. Did that help?
Yes, absolutely. And my last and follow-up question is regarding that itself. So what is your mantra to effectively manage high performers?
Empower, enable, so that they can execute. So this is a triple E mantra. Empower the high performers, enable the tools, process, and decision making, whatever it is, enable them. And I'm sure the execution is going to happen. It's just not execution, right? I wouldn't say execution as a simple, plain English word. It's getting things done. At the end of the day, we have to get things done at a faster time. You have to do it within the time or even before. You need to ensure all the metrics that we had, the key priorities that I was talking about. and deliver results. It's all results driven. So if you enable and empower your senior ICs, that's where you will create magic in the team. They should be inspired. They should accomplish, right? If they don't accomplish, there's nothing. Like we talk about all theory like OKRs and all that. So for them to accomplish, you have to empower, enable them. This is my only mantra.
Great. I guess that's it. Thanks a lot for having this discussion with me today. It was great talking with you on this fascinating topic. Thanks a lot, Sowmya.
Thank you, Abhijit. Thanks for inviting me. I hope this conversation is really going to help you out to come up with some summary or something. I think ICs, managers, after some point of time, all of us have an overall purpose, and that's results, right? Objectives and results. So I'm just linking all the questions that you have and wishing you good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.